Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us today. It's so weird to not do them live because I don't know exactly which date everyone is gonna drop, but you are episode 4, in our
Awesome.
little spin-off series of Cat's Corner, Sick Kids Club edition. And I actually met you very randomly in a
hmm
live a few weeks ago over on the TikTok app.
Yes.
So, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do over on the TikTok, and kind of how you got into doing that over on TikTok.
Okay, so my name is Bless Messa 4 or Amber, and I have 4 kids. 2 have special needs. I'm a widow as well, and I do a lot of the mental health awareness, the 22 push-ups a day to combat and raise awareness for veteran suicide, as well as just mental health awareness in general. I also work out a ton and I just have some fun content on there. So,
I know I see you over there doing all your push-ups and stuff like that, and
oh
that was
yeah, I
something
crave
that was
it.
important to you, because you had mentioned, if you're okay with talking about it, you had
Mhm.
mentioned that you were a widow,
Yes, yes.
and you was your husband a veteran?
He actually was not, but my
No.
dad was a Vietnam veteran, but my husband
Okay.
did have PTSD.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Thank you. But yesterday, like I told you, was very, very healing. So I got to meet Matthew West.
Yeah.
And the song that was played or that I was playing, right before he um, ended his life and called me and told me to listen, it like I got to hear it last night. And that's actually on my TikTok too. And it kind of describes a little bit more, but it was very, very healing.
I'm glad that you got to do that. I really
Me
am.
too. I was the only one dressed up out of like 1,300 people.
That's okay. That's
I don't
okay.
care. I like to be different. Like
I was
Dr.
gonna
Seuss,
say,
I was
did you feel good?
I did. I did,
That's
except
all.
for I froze for the first 45 minutes because we had to wait outside.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I'm in like this strapless dress and like, a jean jacket and boots, and I'm going, uh.
Hey, I've been there before. I've been there before. Early 20s standing outside to get into places in the freezing cold with ridiculous outfits
hmm
on because thought
I
I
didn't
was
think that
cute.
many people would be there, but yeah.
Hey,
And then on top,
that music's making a bigger comeback than a lot of people realize. I was
oh,
actually reading something a couple weeks ago that, the Christian music stations were getting the highest ratings that they've gotten in a while. I have to pull that article. I found it really interesting. Church
it's
attendance is up quite a bit too, so that makes
it's
me happy.
amazing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, me too. Because you never know what people are battling. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You really truly don't. And so that's why when we do superhero Sundays too with my group of 22 a day and everything, and that is just awesome. So I was just Wonder Woman. So I have a Wonder Woman costume and I did my inverted push-ups on my thing, but I'm a kitchen rat too. So I work out in my kitchen. I don't go to the gym.
I mean, you gotta get it. I mean, but you have 4
hmm
kiddos, so I
Yeah.
mean, you gotta do it where you're able to.
Right, exactly, exactly. And I've done pretty well. I've lost 104 pounds and
Holy cow.
Mhm.
Good for
Yeah, and
you.
no surgery, no nothing. So
Nice. Good for you. Good for
thank
you. And
you.
then you guys can, what is your TikTok handle over there is what?
Blessed mess of 4.
Okay, so it's the same on Instagram that it is over on TikTok. So just in case people
Is
wanna
it?
go
Oh,
over,
okay. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
I think so, yeah. Just to make sure that people know where they can find you and all of that
Mhm.
after the episode airs. So now you have a little girly girl who is
Mhm.
part of the Sick Kiddos Club, huh?
She is. Her name's May, and she has something called Williams syndrome.
Okay, how old is May?
She is 5, and she was diagnosed at 10 months old. She had the highest calcium in the world at 18.6.
And do you know what it is like what the regular levels would be?
Regular is between, I want to say, don't quote me, like 7 and 9, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe highest 10, but like 18 is super high. She was on a formula, it was a powder called Calcilo. and she had to be on it. And it's normally transient for Williams kiddos, the calcium anyways. For like after a year, it goes away. And for
Hmm.
her, it didn't. She was almost 3 still on Calcilo, and finally she's off, and she still has some tummy gut problems
Yeah. So
because of
what
it.
is that? What does it like? What part of? Because I had not heard of this before.
Oh, okay. So, Williams syndrome is a rare genetic and sporadic syndrome. For us, it was sporadic. She's one of 15,000 in the female population in the world. She has major heart, kidney, calcium, global development, vision, and developmental delays. But her name's May, and she's amazing. I spell it differently too now.
Oh, do you? I like.
AHH, and then like that'll all be lowercase, and then May will be, capitalized, and then Zing will be lowercase.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a love.
So what does that entail for you guys? Like, what is a typical day with May?
Lots of sensory, lots of like she can get overwhelmed very easily. It's like, oh man, just her latest things. Like just the other day, she cooked the bottle of foam soap and came in the kitchen. I'm cooking dinner and she just got foaming, and I'm going, oh my gosh, what happened? And she's like, and I'm going, and I smell it, and I'm like, did you seriously do that?
Oh no.
And sure enough, yeah, she had soap in her mouth, and she's just been very like sensory. Like she ate a frozen fry the other day too. And
Hmm.
it's the texture. It's the
Okay.
texture in her mouth. So it's a sensory, seeking, as well as the coldness. So the temperature. So there were like 3 sensory things that, were taken care of at that point. And then, like, I mean, so she's got hypotonia too, which is low tone. So her knees are starting to bruise, like the inside, because she's knocking them together.
Mhm.
So probably, holy snow. Sorry.
That's good.
I looked out my front window and I'm like, whoa. Um, Good old Ohio. But
Okay, yeah, I'm right above you. I'm in Michigan, so we're
oh,
getting the
okay.
same.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yep.
We're like, but and so like that's just, like that's been hard and everything. But she should be getting braces, and she had these braces before, and you're going to have like varying different doctors' opinions too about it, because it's like one says, okay, that's more detrimental to her than it helps her, vice versa, whatever. But they think they're going to be doing the AFOs, which are the ones that go up to the knees, because
Okay, so
she's
my
got
little
that
girl was
inverted walk and everything.
yeah. So my little girl's on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
It's autism spectrum level 1, so she's on the
Is she
like
verbal?
Asperger's side of things of what it
Okay.
used to be.
My
Yeah,
oldest is as well.
fully verbal. She wasn't when she was little. It took her a very long time to start talking. We were a little bit worried about that, but it was one of those things that once she started,
She never
she
stopped.
didn't oh, she
Yeah,
doesn't it never stops.
mine too.
But they had done casting on her legs when she was
Yes.
little. First, she had the casts, and then she moved to a brace that went into her shoe and went up to the knee that was specially made for her because she was
Yeah.
always up on those.
So those are
Up
AFOs, and the SMOs are
okay,
the smaller ones. Yeah.
okay. So
Hmm.
same type of ones. I know she was able to get a really cute pair with like butterflies all over them, and they were hot
And they're
pink. And
purple. We got purple ones, yeah, last
yeah,
time.
we got her the hot pink ones.
And they have Billy. Have you heard of the Billy shoes?
Uh-uh.
So they zip around the toe and then they go up. So they're easier for kids that have braces and everything. And they make cute pairs, because honestly, like her first pair of New Balance, because those are the only ones that I could get to fit with the braces in her feet,
Me too.
I bedazzled them.
Oh, did you? See,
Yes, I did,
I
because I
didn't
was
connect
so,
her like
it
that.
wasn't fair for her sister to have fancy shoes and she
Mhm.
couldn't. So I didn't want her to feel left out.
I love that they make them that I've never seen them. That would have been
Yeah, Billy
amazing.
shoes. So
She definitely
I'm excited when she gets these. They're gonna make the final decision within the next like 2 weeks,
mhm.
but because it's a new therapist and everything, because I had to end up taking her back to PT even though she gets school PT.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same. It's not that individualized hour. It might be like 15 minutes during a school day, because
Mhm.
you have to implement with the IEP and everything. And there's also a ton of other goals for her,
Yeah.
like boundaries. She has like zero stranger danger, which is really, really scary. It's kind of sort of cute right now,
Mhm.
but it's getting to a stage where like it's not cute because you can't
Yeah.
be, I mean, you can't be 30 years old and going up to some, and my thought is you can't be going up to some random guy and being like, oh, hi.
Yep.
And that's what's kind of scary. But she's doing a lot better with it because if she has a different bus driver or something, she'll be like, who are you? And I'm like, I go, I know she sounds a little rude. I said, this is a good thing actually for her. I said,
No,
because
I mean, that is. If
I
she's a
need her
little
to
bit
be like that.
uncomfortable, then maybe she's getting a little bit of that boundary.
And her sister's really good about like just her, and she'll be like, no, May, you don't talk to somebody, like she's really good about it.
Yeah.
Really, really good, thank God. But and she's sometimes she wakes up at night and she has like leg pain, things like that. It was like a daily or nightly occurrence, I should say, but hasn't happened in a while, so I'm just praying about it and crossing my fingers.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard. It's
Mhm.
different sometimes. But like I mean, with meals and stuff, she's your typical kid.
Oh, so you didn't get the picky eating with it?
No, I
She's
didn't
not
because
like
I
a
didn't find
picky
out till
eater
she was
kiddo?
10 months old. So with that, like I didn't have that chance to be like, well, you can't have milk, you can't have this, you can't have that.
Right.
So it was kind of, I almost want to say that was like a blessing in disguise
Mhm.
because had I known, like a lot of them can't walk, are still on formula or feeds. A high majority of them have had heart surgery. And a lot of times, like they can go into, I mean, their heart conditions are fatal. A lot of
Yeah.
times they can go into sudden cardiac arrest just out of the blue. But she's not having any intervention, and she's got supravalvular aortic stenosis, pulmonary stenosis, PPS, a narrowing aortic arch, ascending aortic hypoplasia, and just diagnosed recently this past year, Wolff Parkinson White syndrome. So she's got an extra electrical activity going through her heart. Why? No one knows.
Oh my goodness. And just an itty bitty.
And
Like, I
she
talk to a
is,
lot of
but
adults, and it's one thing with adults, 'cause
yeah.
I don't know why, but you feel like adults it's not that they deserve it by any means,
hmm
but they're adults,
But
like,
well, the whole thing
they
is they
deserve the
can comprehend it. I
right.
think that's where it comes in. Like, not that anybody deserves to be sick whatsoever or have, a chronic illness or anything like that. It's that they can comprehend it. But like right now, what's killing me, and I'm going to mention this kiddo's name. His name's Super Cooper. He can actually be found on Instagram. I'll have to find
Mhm.
his information on it. But anyways, he's battling cancer and he's got Williams syndrome too. Like,
Both. Like, what are
come
the odds of that?
come on. Like, it makes me. It's like already so hard for these kiddos to like fit in, and they always, want friends and everything like that and to be treated equally. And I mean, but this kiddo's, fighting cancer. Like, why? Makes me
I
so
know.
angry that he's got to deal with just another thing in the parents,
Yeah. I know that
you
that
know?
that's where I always beat myself up a little bit because with mine, like, we didn't know. Actually, my daughter was actually how we found out what was wrong with me,
Oh,
but
wow.
because there's a 50% chance that you will, because mine's it's called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and you have a 50% chance of passing it down.
Oh, okay. Does she have it as
So
well?
and she has it as well. Hers came with Chiari malformation, so
Okay.
the bottom portion of her brain descended into her spinal cord too far. So she had brain surgery, and it was like a 5.5 hour
Wow.
surgery, because she was falling a lot, and that's why we did the braces, and that's actually
Yeah.
why she was probably tiptoe walking as well. Like, she
Mhm.
does fall in that autism spectrum, but once we found the Chiari, it was like, okay, how much of this
Everything made sense.
yes, like how much of this is autism and how much of this is the Chiari and why does she have the Chiari? And I wound up on a fluke chance finding a surgeon here in Michigan that specialized in Chiari, and she was the one who diagnosed my daughter with Ehlers-Danlos and then did the standardized testing on me in the office and said, "You need to find a doctor for yourself for Ehlers-Danlos because it's probably why you're starting to have the health problems that you are." Usually, it's like a major
Wow.
health event around the age of 40, which I'm almost 40 now, and it happened at this I started getting sick about 2 years ago. So,
Wow.
it kind of, but with her, hers was the Chiari, which also falls underneath it. But she's the same, like, she masks a lot and likes to pretend like she's not different. Because I
Yeah,
think now
yeah.
she's 10 now, so she's starting to realize, like, "Why do I go to this class and other kids don't? How come I have to go to speech and the rest of
Other
my
kids
class doesn't?"
don't. And that's really
Right.
hard. And Williams
Yeah.
syndrome is the same. It's actually a 50% chance that your child will get it as well. And the problem with that is, okay, so when you think about like birth and everything like that,
Mhm.
that's hard on your heart.
Mhm.
Pregnancy, that's can be hard on your heart, things like that. And so like, and the thing is, and there's no kind of like your daughter doesn't have the exact symptoms that you had.
Mhm.
So there's no guarantee that if May had a child, that she would be able, that that child wouldn't have, even more issues than
Right.
her. It could be more, it
Okay,
could
so
be
it
less,
kind
it
of
could be the same.
it's kind of like an umbrella, right, is
Hmm.
with hers as well, where not every patient experiences
Yeah,
the same symptoms. That's how it is with Ehlers-Danlos too. It's very which makes it harder, right? Because even when you find someone that may also be diagnosed with the same condition as May, they're
yeah.
not necessarily the same because,
I mean, a
like I
lot
have a
of them.
girlfriend who's in
Oh, go
more
ahead.
like arthritis pain to where
Oh
my pain is
man.
different, or where I have a lot of GI issues, another person with Ehlers-Danlos might not have any GI issues because ours is connective tissue. So
Okay.
that's where the sick is in connective tissue, which is everywhere, and we don't produce collagen the way that
Okay.
most people do. So like super bendy, like we can pop
Okay,
our
so
joints and
she's
not
missing
affect
the
it.
elastin gene.
Okay. Yeah, like,
So
we get, like,
she's
really
missing
stretchy,
26 genes on
skin that we
chromosome
can
7.
okay.
Yeah, so she's very like, I'm like, how do you bend that way?
Very hypermobile.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
That's
that's
how
also the hypotonia, just that low, like, like wiggly, like
mhm.
spaghetti legs
Yeah.
type thing like that. And that's why,
So when you
we
lose
go to,
muscle tone like that, yeah, I mean,
mm-hmm.
it's gonna be hard for like, people don't really understand, like, how all the little things work together with the collagen, the ligaments, the connective tissue, the muscles, and if one starts going, everything around it is gonna
Mm-hmm.
kinda atrophy, you know?
Atrophy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, no, I
And then
understand as
with the
far as
physical therapy at school, I don't know
no.
how your daughter's is, but, like, when my daughter was receiving it, it wasn't much
Well, that's why I
at the
have her
school.
outside now. That's why I
Yeah.
have her out because I was like, she's getting worse. Like
Mhm.
something needs to happen.
Do you feel like like, with your schooling system and stuff like that, like, are they good about her IEP and, like, have you had good luck?
They,
Because I know that
well,
that's a ride. We
yeah, yeah. IEPs are really hard, but like one of the thing was is like, and I freaked out because I walked into her classroom on Halloween and there was like say like this is her desk, like she had red, pink tape on her area and then around her chair, and everybody knew that was May's area. And I was like, this is supposed to be inclusion,
Right,
like not seclusion, what you're doing. I
right.
said, that tape needs to, and I used some kind words, um, be gone. Like, are you kidding me? I said, do you want to walk in a classroom? Well, we've done that for other students. I said, it's different if you have four little X's on the floor that her chair is supposed to stay in.
Mhm.
But you were giving her this tiny space that she can maybe move and wiggle in and everything, but like I finally got her a one-on-one and we fought for it. Me and her teacher actually fought for it because,
Oh,
and
that's great.
yeah, and what kind of ticked me off though was like, um, I got more involved with the IEPs and everything. I was like, listen, this is what this is, XYZ, whatever. And they're like, well, we don't have any information on Williams syndrome. And I'm like, excuse me? I
That's
go,
kind
she's
of
been
your
in your
job.
district for how many years? How many beep years
Yep.
has she been in your district? How many? And you're going to tell me you don't know anything? And that's why, like, I'm so glad that, like, I became, like, an expert on it, basically,
Yeah.
because you have to. Because you just kind of like yours, I'm sure, like, you go into a doctor's office and they're like, oh, I didn't really know about that. Well, that's fine if you don't know about what
Mhm.
you're seeing the patient and you don't know like what that is. I'm okay with that, but you can open up your phone, you can ask
Yeah.
Alexa. Or you can, there's a plethora of resources
Yeah.
that you could have taken 5 minutes to just look at. They are super friendly. They actually call it the happy syndrome.
Mhm.
Because if
Okay.
you say F you with a happy face, she's, oh, you
Right. It's
know,
more like it's what your face looks like as you're talking to her is what she's picking up on more than what you're
exactly.
saying.
But she also goes to like the people who need the most healing. It's amazing. It's incredible. It really is.
I feel like that my daughter is a little bit like that too. She'll find the kiddo that no one's really talking to or the kid that might feel a little bit left out, and that's the
She
one
even
that she
finds the
wants
adults and she'll be
to go
like,
be.
"Do you need a hug? You want a
My
hug?"
daughter is best friends with the entire staff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she has more friends that are teachers, and I always tell her, I'm like, "Honey, like, it's really great. I love that for you. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that you get along with all of your teachers, but we have to try,
Hmm.
with some of the kids too." And she's like, she
Yeah, she's
doesn't
like,
she
eh.
has the desire, but she doesn't have the desire. I think that
Mm-hmm.
she wants the desire of, "Yes, I belong here. Yes, I fit in," but not necessarily everything that goes with it. She doesn't wanna do 'cause
Yeah.
she doesn't
See,
understand, like, the cattiness. Because now we're getting cattiness, which is crazy to me at 10. I thought I at least had a couple more years of this, like, at least
my 7-year-old is going through that.
like, what is going on? Why are
I
they
don't know
so, like,
because they're
little adults
nasty.
now? And they're nasty.
They're nasty.
I'm taught they're nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And because like, my daughter, she has the IEP. My son has a 504 because my son has ADHD, and he needed a 504. Like, we needed a little bit of protection and plan for his
Yeah.
little crazy ball of energy self to make sure that he got more time on tests and things like that. He didn't
Oh yeah.
need the full-blown IEP, but he needed something in place that kind of gave him it levels the playing field is how they explained it to me. Where,
Mm-hmm.
like, an IEP is very in-depth with goals, and you meet the 504 necessarily isn't like that. There's not
No, it just gives a
specific
little more
goals.
leeway in some,
Right.
standard. But at the same time, like schools, I want to say they get like 30,000 per special needs child.
Girl, when I found out how much schools got for IEPs and 504s, I about lost my mind. I had friends who had special needs kids, but I didn't have any experience with it on my own until my daughter. And the school that they were in previously, while I did like the school, they were horrible with her IEP. I mean, she
Mm-hmm.
would come home and be like, "I haven't had speech for a month." I'm like, "Wait, you're just now telling me that you haven't had speech for a month?" And I would
Wow.
call
See, and
up
they
there
wouldn't be
and
able to tell me.
well, and then she was doing speech therapy, like, I'm not making this political. This is not a political statement in any way, shape, or form. But they were trying to do speech therapy with her with masks on.
They didn't, at least, okay, so I have to
But then
say,
at
like
this
the speech
school,
therapist we have
they
like the
did the
the
close.
window that you can
Yes,
see their mouth, because if you can't see my mouth, you can't articulate, you can't help me make those sounds. Like if I'm going,
right.
oh, all you're gonna see is, your cheeks tighten and your eyes look
Mhm.
like something like there's a deer behind you. Like it doesn't
Nope.
make sense.
The speech therapist had a regular mask on. My daughter, her name's Elise, she was allowed to take her mask off so that the speech teacher could see her mouth, but I'm like, "How can she copy you if she
Mm-mm.
can't see?" And it was just a lot of things, and then, like, they didn't inform me of an IEP meeting one time. I never got an email, I never got a call. They went ahead and had the IEP meeting without me. I
Ooh.
didn't know that I had the right to then turn around and demand another one. So
Hmm.
that one slid underneath, but now I've talked to a lot of other moms of kids who have them and learned a lot more about
Oh yeah,
when
like
I
a
can
parent
call them.
advocate, like all that. I
Didn't
thought of
even
even
know that I
being a
could have
parent
one of those
advocate.
for the longest time.
Hmm.
But now when I go in, I go in with the folder and I'm the mom that's got like the photo because they said that like statistically it's a psychological
Yes, it shows you care about
thing.
your kid more.
Well, and it makes her a human to
Yeah,
the
not
people
a
who are
not not
talking
a.
about her.
Yep.
So I was really shocked at the new school because I went in with all my tricks and I sit down and they've got this huge projector up and boom, there's a photo of my daughter in the upper right hand corner, super cute photo from her classroom, all of her strengths, all of her successes, and then the
Wow.
IEP next to it. So they leave that up the whole time where you see
That
all the
that's
positive
really
things.
that's really nice though.
As a
Yeah,
mom,
because
yeah, because especially when they start getting into, this goal wasn't met. Here's where they're still struggling. Here's where this is still an
that
issue.
is
That
so
gets
hard.
hard.
Because like, and it's like, and you're gonna have people that constantly post like, "Oh my God, my kid got 100% on this," and you're going, "Mine can't rate the ABCs yet."
Mhm,
But at the same time, like you have to kind of, it's almost like a self-love, but like for your child is like you have to love them where they're at.
mhm.
Just like you have to love yourself where you're at. Like, have you heard of the poem called Welcome to Holland?
Uh-uh.
So, it's actually like like my tattoo, my
Okay.
tulips are here. I'll show you. I have sports bra on. Am I allowed to show
Okay, I
that?
got you. You can chef, as long as you're not scared to be glad.
But
Alright.
like, so
Oh, that's beautiful.
I have the three tulips are for Williams syndrome or for Welcome to Holland. And what it is that it says, this whole entire time, you've always wanted to go to Italy. And the thing is, with special needs or anything that you or your child or whatever gets diagnosed with, like, you're never going to make it to Italy.
Mhm,
But you make it to Holland, and it's not filled with pestilence or, famine or anything like that. It's just not Italy. And you can either be miserable for the rest of your life and make your kid's life miserable and say, well, I never got to go to Italy. Like, you need to, like live their dream. Like, do you know what I mean? You're not living yours. And that's what's kind of hard because, like, sometimes when your kid is diagnosed, like, your dreams for them are done.
mhm.
But when you think about it, so there's beautiful tulips in Holland. And if you can just see the beauty of Holland, you're going to find out it's actually better than Italy. And
I
so
love that.
it's huge. It really is. Like it's
'Cause I
just
feel like
it's a different
you have to
perspective.
grieve it a little bit, right? Like,
You
I felt
do.
the same way after my diagnosis as well, like, I had to grieve who I was 4 years ago because I'm not her anymore, and I had to
Yeah.
accept that I'm not going to be her again. This is not take an antibiotic and you're gonna be all better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I felt that way with her as well because, like, we don't know. We don't know what her limitations are going to be. She's 10, she's doing good. She's
Yeah.
mostly in regular classes. She's thriving. She wants to be there. She wants
Hmm.
to learn. Um, but you sit down at night and it's like,
And
well,
I'm
what is
sure you
the
probably
plan?
blame yourself too.
Yes. That is like the biggest thing because,
Because it's
when
like, oh
it
my God,
was
like what did I do wrong?
right.
Or
When
yeah,
it was
and you
autism,
can't
when it was
think like that
just
though.
autism, it was easier for me. As odd as that was, because I'm like, "Okay, this is a thing that happens to children and it's to no
And it's
fault
and
of
it's
anybody,
common.
and
Yeah.
it's common." But then when I found out, like, nope, this is, I mean, she is on the
More.
spectrum, but this is more this condition that's called this. And it's like, well, where on earth did that come from? And
Hmm.
then it's cue over and, oh, well, you can do this and this and this with your joints. And you've been losing weight and getting sick and they don't really know what's going on with you. And then find out, no, it was your genetics.
Yeah, and that hurts because like and
Yeah.
maze is genetic or sporadic, and so like the small variability that it could happen, period, was like, are you kidding me? Like she's my third. Like and come on, and and it was like I remember even with my oldest, he was 4 years old and got glasses, and I felt like the worst mom in the world because I gave him that vision.
Right.
And I'm going, oh my gosh, I'm the worst, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, it can be corrected with glasses. It's not that big of a deal.
Mhm.
A lot of people have glasses, like make it fun. But it took that, just, okay. You know what I mean? Like that deep
Yep.
breath to be like, I understand that it's not my fault. Like, even if you have something and you pass it on to your kid,
Mhm.
like, it's still not your
No,
fault.
no.
Do you know what I mean? Which
No.
I'm sure, is hard because kind of same with May. It's like, why did this happen?
Mhm.
But for her to be missing 26 genes on chromosome 7 and still be walking, talking, running, playing, laughing, sassing, she just lost her first tooth.
Right.
um, and just like, coloring and writing her name. Like, I thank God she got the shortest name of all the kids. Because she's so cute. She's like up, down, up, a circle with a stick, and then a Pac-Man for the E. I was like, however you do that. But it was so sweet. And I was like, I'm like, there is so much joy to be had with these kids that a lot of people
Yes,
just don't see.
there is. There is because it's those little milestones that are so minuscule, I think, in
Oh,
typical
yeah.
functioning children that, like, you're like, "Yay," because it's a regular milestone. Yay.
She
But I
zipped
feel
her
like
coat, and I
when
made
they
a
hit
TikTok
them.
about it because she did it by herself and she was so proud. And she's like, yay, May May, you're proud of May May? Like I tell my kids I'm proud of them all the time. And yes, I yell. I mean, it's just me doing this, so it's a little bit tiring.
Well, we all yell at our kids, every parent, like,
Mm.
I know that there's this whole gentle, what is it called now? Gentle parenting, and, like, look, I've been looking into it, and
I mean, does
it's
that
not
mean
that
you
bad.
put like sound barriers on your walls and like it's
So
like a
it's
bounce
being
house in your
able,
house? Because that's as gentle as I'm gonna get.
see, that's kinda where I am too, like, I'm a product of my environment, and I grew up in, like, the '80s, '90s, so, like, we
So did
got
I.
yelled at, man, like, we were
Oh, we
scared when
got
our
yelled at and
dads
we got
came
our
home
butt
from
smacked.
work.
But the thing is, like, yes, I'll spank my kids, but I don't beat them.
There's a difference, though. There's a
There's a
difference,
huge
and some
difference.
people are very, very against it, and some people and I think that when it comes to that, like, it's just that's you gotta let the parent make the choice on that one, and
Hmm.
I liked the idea of the gentle parenting only because, like, I do like that not full-fledged gentle parenting, like, I'm a stern parent, but I
Hmm.
like the sit down aspect to it where you sit and you talk, like, "This is why I'm mad, and this is
Hmm.
why I reacted this way, and I'm sorry if it bothered you or made you feel this way.
Hmm.
What did it make you feel like, and what did," and it's talking, it's the feelings talking, which I think
It,
we really lacked as kids, like, in my generation, that wasn't, like, a in thing, and I always use Inside Out as, like, a good map for that one with
oh yeah, that's true. And
those
I do
both
the
are
same
my
thing. I'm like,
favorite for kids.
yeah,
Every
because
kid
I'm
should
like,
watch
those are
them.
big feelings. Like,
Yep.
what's going on, or they don't want to talk about it. I'm like, okay, but
Like,
in
my little one's
that's
been struggling
hard.
with anxiety recently, and it's probably due to the medication that they have her on. It can be a side effect. She has a
Mm.
neuralgia from surgery, so she gets, like, nerve pain in her neck and in her back.
Oh,
So the
poor baby.
medication that she's on for the nerve pain can cause a little bit of anxiety here and there. It hasn't been a big
Hmm.
issue, um, but we found that talking to her like the Inside Out people, because I said, It's just like all those people on Inside Out. Someone pushed the wrong button and your brain did like a big old hiccup, and we just got to give it a minute to level its way back out. And
That's a
once
good
she
idea.
could understand it that way, or even when she's having like meltdowns at school, because she still gets very overwhelmed socially,
Yeah,
she'll
that well, and that's
lie.
how May is too.
Oh, she'll lie though and say that she doesn't. And on days that I know that she was extra social, she comes home and she's like
Wiped.
not
Hmm.
talking, watching like the same show that she always watches on the tablet and not talking to anybody because she can't anymore. Like she hits a wall and
Yeah.
everything's just anger that comes out
And it's
once
not good,
she
but you know what? That's her way of coping with it too, though.
Mhm,
So that's a good thing. Like we use a lot of so like we use like a visual, like smell the flowers,
mhm.
blow out the candle,
Oh, see, we
and I
have a
make
breathing
them
Buddha.
do it.
You ever
Oh,
seen
okay.
I don't oh, no, she took mine to school with her. It looks like a little marshmallow man. You push a button on it, it turns
Hmm.
one color to breathe in, changes to the next color to hold, and then changes to a different color to breathe out.
Oh,
You can
will
get
you
them on
send me the
Amazon.
link to that?
They're called breathing Buddhas. I'll shoot you over the link after the show. They're
That's
great.
interesting.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
her guidance counselor actually ordered a couple of them. She was like, "I'm telling your mom I'm only borrowing hers for, like, a week, because I was like, "She can just bring it with her to school," because I had gotten a bunch of different things for my anxiety just to try out, and that wasn't it was cool,
I
and
even
it
got
did
like those
remind me.
calm strips. So
Yes.
like you like go like this with them and everything, and they're like the
Mhm,
different textures. And I sent them into school. They were supposed to stick them on her desk. I don't know if they did. I gotta talk to them. But I think because there's 21 kids in the classroom.
mhm.
I have to invite them all to her birthday party. Um,
Oh, are you in one of those schools where you have to invite all the kids or you can't invite
Yeah, and
that
I
was our
get it.
school
You
before
don't
this.
want to get
I
them left
do, I
out,
get it
but
too. I
y'all
get it.
can have real fun at my house for 2 hours because that's how long
Right.
it's gonna
With,
last.
like, some hot and readies from up the road and, like,
Oh my
have a
gosh.
good
You know what? Yeah, I think that's exactly what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get pizza. I'm gonna
time.
make, I don't know, something that I'll eat because I won't eat pizza because it'll make me sick. Like actually that's a whole new thing with me too. Like I don't know what's wrong with me, but I don't do well with like greasy food. I don't do well with milk. I think I'm lactose intolerant to be
Maybe
honest with
lactose
you, but
intolerant,
like I can
or
have
have to do a
cheese, but
little
just
peeksy peeks
not.
at your gallbladder.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, we're not doing any of that. I don't have time, so it's a no
Oh,
go.
I hear
Like,
you.
um, if it worked that way, but it's just it's crazy, you know. But I'm thinking, what can I do in here for 2 hours at the end of the month, and it's on April 1st.
They'll have fun, though. Like, they have fun at those things no matter what we do for
They
them. Like,
will, and she's
that's
gonna
what
have
it is for
giraffe
us.
theme, so I think I might make chocolate covered pretzels.
There you go.
So like I'm really good at making stuff, and well, you've seen my food and stuff I make too, but I won't do
Yes.
that for everybody. But I'll just I think I'll just have pizza, cake, and I got like little keychains, like giraffe keychains. I got her giraffe dress, and
Well, that enough right there. You're good to go. You don't need balloons. You don't need streamers. You don't need all the garbage that you hang up on your wall. This would take down a throwaway 5 minutes later.
I'm not getting it. Like I
No,
literally, this is
I will not
from
do it anymore.
no, like that the garland or whatever is from Valentine's Day. It can stay up.
Yep, it's still festive. No one's looking at it.
I don't care if they are.
Like no
And if you
one.
don't like what I'm serving, there's McDonald's up the road.
Yeah, you can stop by on your way home with your kid.
I'm sorry, I'm horrible though. Like I am, I used to be the one that would shut my mouth at any adversity, any this or that. Like, granted, I don't talk about politics because me and my dad would get into it, and
Mhm.
and he's passed. This is actually his fingerprint, and then this is my mom's.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so she passed away May 19th, and then my dad passed away March 7th, and then my husband did what he did 3 years on March 7th. So,
Girl, that's a lot of loss real fast.
yeah, yeah,
But maybe that's why. Maybe that's why you got May.
yeah. Oh, you know, and her name actually, her middle name is Paulette, which my dad was Paul.
See,
And
I always think that there's like little God winks like that with the kids that were chosen to
Hmm.
get. Like, we're chosen to have them for
I
reasons,
one
whether it be
billion
like
percent agree.
generational healing or, to help you learn something. I feel like each kid you are supposed to learn a lesson from by getting to know them
And
and
you
raising.
do.
You do.
Well, you really do. And like, I mean, just the love that they have is
Mhm.
unlike anyone, anyone. And like her starburst eyes, her eyes, like mine are blue,
Mhm.
like, but hers are like starburst. And that's actually one of the indicators of the syndrome.
Really?
Hmm.
So are they like kaleidoscopy looking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it looks
Huh.
like literally like a starburst.
Wow.
Hmm. So
So
it's insane. I
what
wish I
does
had a
this mean?
picture.
Like, is this something that progresses? Is this something that tends to stay the same?
It
Um,
really depends on how she grows. So a lot of them, like the reason they go into sudden cardiac arrest and all that is because they grow too fast and nothing can catch up. So they have stenosis. So like, so it's kind of it's all over the board. It really is. I mean, and it's crazy because there's some that are born with the heart issue. Like with her, yes, she was born with heart issues, but syndrome for the longest time. And actually, when I walked into the endocrinologist office, I looked at her and I go, she's got Williams syndrome, doesn't she? She goes, how did you know? I go, I've done my research.
mhm.
She goes, wow, mama, wow. I go, yeah. But like, so, it's varying degrees of heart because like we've lost some kiddos too. And it's heart wrenching. I mean, it is so heart wrenching. Like, and I even did, and we're part of a special wish, and I ran the 24 and 24 this year. Well,
Okay.
last year it was 24 miles in 24 hours, so a mile an hour. Ooh, that
I
was
don't
hard.
there's no way. Like, even me healthy, I'm not even gonna blame my illness for this. Even me at my prime,
Peak,
I could
yeah.
not run like that. Like, I've always
Well,
been
I
that
ended
person
up
that, like, if
gimping
I'm
probably the
running,
last
you should be
12
running.
miles. I ended up gimping because I couldn't, because I was like, I work out every day. I'm good. Oh, honey, running is a different thing. So like by the end, I'm holding both of my hips trying to walk.
Well, I've heard that, like, just the mental component of running, like, that you hit this wall, that there's just this wall that you hit that you have to, like, push through.
Oh yeah,
Is
well we
that
had no
true?
sleep or anything. It was
Mhm.
like every single like mile had a theme.
Mhm.
And so we ran for Luke this year and also Vivian and a few other kiddos that had passed.
Mhm.
And it was just magical. And I was like, and everybody's like, because I was limping and everything, they're like, you need to go take like a mile or so off. And I go, my daughter doesn't get a mile off, neither do any of these kids. I'm not
Good
doing
for
it.
you.
But it was really hard to push through that. Really hard. I'm
I
not gonna lie.
bet. I
It was
bet.
very
I can just
mentally,
picture it.
emotionally, and whoa, physically draining. Like I thought I was prime. I was good. I didn't need to worry about it. I work out. No, you don't.
No, you don't. Not the way that runners do. Running it is. It's a whole different running and bicycling and
And I
all
didn't
of
even
that
get to
stuff. It is
practice
way harder than what
before.
it looks.
Yeah, and I didn't get to practice before the 24 and 24.
So
No,
you
because
didn't,
I
like,
worked
work
out.
your
I
way
thought I was
up?
fine.
Oh my gosh.
So I went from lifting weights to trying to run, and it was very comical.
I mean, but you finished it, right?
I did. I
That's
finished. Yeah.
that right there is an achievement. I know one thing that, like, I always wanted to do, and it was before, was I always wanted to do, like, the Tough Mudder. That looks so fun to me. That
I
looks like
want.
the most fun thing
I've
ever.
done some of those. I have done some of those. I haven't done Tough Mudder. I want to. Um, yeah, no, I definitely. I'll run for you.
It
I'll
looks
wear a
so
shirt with your face on it.
She can't be here, so I am. I do like those things, though. I love how many And that was kind of like the whole purpose of this show too, right? Was just to like have normal conversations with regular people who deal with kiddos like this or themselves.
Yeah.
Because I think like in with like the tough mutter things that they do, a lot of times they do it for a thing, like
Yeah.
awareness of some kind. And I think that like because I had never heard of your daughter's syndrome, and
I worked
I
at a
don't like
hospital for 10 years and never had heard of it, and I was in the lab.
right. See, I've because have you ever had to take her to the ER where they like Google what she has?
That's what I was saying. No, I've had doctors, like actual
Yeah.
physical doctor appointments that were like scheduled months in advance. They're like, I never heard of this. What it? You are not asking me what is it with your medical degree. Go on Google. It'll tell you all about it.
I had a doctor one time in an ER Google in front of me. I was like, "Can you at least go into the hall so that I have like a little bit of false security that you understand this?" And I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of times they also don't like to admit that they don't know what's
Yeah,
going on. I mean, and us as humans, like we have that pride, especially if it's our specialty and we should know. You
yeah.
get that little ego hit if it's something that you don't know. But a
Which
lot
makes
of
it harder.
times
Which makes
it's
it a
just
lot harder.
I mean, just pass me along to somebody who does then. You don't have to be the doctor today. Go find one that does. It's okay for you
Yeah.
to say, "I don't know your
Hmm.
condition," because I feel
Or
like
like,
sometimes they come hurting us.
well, exactly. Or say, hey, you know what? I'm not exactly familiar with this. Give me about 10 to 15 minutes. Let me go do some research.
Yes.
And I'll be right back and we'll get you taken care of.
Well, like, there's just so many different weird, like, red flags of things too. Like, for example, like, I always had issues with anesthesia. When I would wake up from surgery, the doctor was always like, "Yeah, you like woke up like a little bit halfway through. Do you remember that?" And I'm like, "No, don't remember it. So no harm, no foul, right?"
Whoa.
But had I been diagnosed and before those surgeries, they would have known that due to my condition, I require more anesthesia because my body metabolizes it differently. Like there's those little
Oh,
things with
okay.
health conditions too that people don't realize
Well,
that
same
like
thing with May.
does she need
But
more
well, she doesn't need more. It's she can go into sudden a lot of the kids go into sudden cardiac arrest with anesthesia.
with
So
anesthesia?
if you break your finger and have to have surgery, like it is a scary thing to have surgery for our
Yeah.
kiddos. And it's like, and I mean, a lot of them have passed. A lot have passed. And it's like,
But I love your dedication to her and by not keeping her in this box, and I feel like
oh
that's
no,
why
she could do
she's
everything that she,
thriving.
mm-mm.
And that's why she's thriving, like if we're told that we're only going to
Thank
get
you.
here, then we're only going to get here. Like I've had doctors that have told me, like, oh, it's degenerative. It's going to get worse over time. Okay, well, it's not today. So I'm not going to live in the what you think is going to happen.
Hmm.
I'm going to live in, what my day is right now.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
feel like that since you've had that mindset with her, she's going to grow up with that mindset
Oh
of,
yeah, like she
okay,
says she wants to be a doctor. I'm like, let's go.
get it. Yeah, that's my little girl too. She's like, I want to be a neurosurgeon so that I can do brain surgeries on other kids. And I was like, get it. Like, who am I to
Yeah,
tell you that you can't?
exactly. And you got to
And
be her biggest supporter. Like, I mean, and
mhm,
it's crazy because like at the IEP meetings, they're like, well, what is your goal for her? And I said, I want her to be the best version of herself.
yep.
That's what I want. They go, well, what else? I go, whatever that entails, that's what I want.
Hmm. I
And
mean,
it's
why does it
like,
have to be anything more than that?
exactly, exactly.
I
And
mean,
we're
I
still
feel like,
trying to potty train. That's been, I don't know, because she's been like, just like I said, that sensory aspect. So she's wanting to grab things out and touch
hmm.
and she'll get over it eventually, but they say they kind of regress a little bit, like that's normal for them. And I'm going, oh my God.
Oh, like that, and like the infant need to grab.
Yeah, except for she's not an infant.
Right. No, I have one of my
But
girlfriends, her little boy has cerebral palsy and he went back to doing that. Like if you put something in his hand, he'll
yeah.
instinctively go to grab it.
Oh yeah, no,
And
she does
did
that
that
with
like
like her
randomly a
pull
couple
up.
years ago.
Like
Okay.
yeah, like after. And I'm going, oh my God. Like we are not doing this again. But so I had to explain that, like, that's not healthy, that's not sanitary. We have to wash
Mhm,
our hands. We can't do that. Like but it's that thing where they're going to learn if you're also more calm. Because
mhm.
when someone's yelling at you, all you hear is yelling.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what they're saying.
no. No, I agree with you on that one. So if there was one thing that you could kinda leave everybody with today
Hmm.
that you think would overall make this an easier place to exist being different,
I
what would it be?
um I would literally say just don't give them limitations and treat them the same. Treat them with the kindness and love that they do you. And, if you see them getting picked on or something like that, like stick up for them. Because one of the scariest things about being a parent of a special needs child is that when you go, who is going to take care of
Yeah.
them? Because in my situation, right now, currently, I don't have, I'm not engaged, I'm not married. Like, yeah, I have a boyfriend, but like I'm not engaged or married, so like I don't have
Right.
anybody living with me. Do you know what I mean? So like
Yeah,
I don't have that. So
and we're
what's
also
gonna
taking care of each other as people.
exactly? And it's like and a lot of people just want to see you hurt, or they go, oh, because you get preference on this, that, or whatever. Like, you think I like having a handicap sign for her? Like, and I won't, and honestly, like, unless she's doing like bad with her legs that day, I won't park there. I won't park there by myself unless it's like an absolute emergency.
Mhm.
But like, oh, it must be nice. Like, I kind of want to say that.
Yeah. It must.
Like, because what's so nice, like you see the happy child that I present.
Mhm.
You see, I try to show the other stuff, but it's, she has her moments, but I'm not going to tape record her screaming bloody murder because,
Right.
like, everything can be searched on social media.
Mhm.
In years to come, like, I don't want to be like, oh, May's having a meltdown. Oh, let's look at. No.
No.
What for? Do I want someone to tape record me while I'm having a meltdown? No. So why would you do it to your child?
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I really don't like those videos when I come across them either.
No, I don't either. Mm-mm.
But I do appreciate you coming on and sitting down with me today,
Much
and I
love.
appreciate all you guys who have been watching these and
Yes,
learning from
thank
these.
you.
Don't forget to go and find Blessed Mess of 4 over on the TikTok and go and support her in any way that you can, and I
Thank
appreciate
you
you
for
for
spreading awareness.
sharing it.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. No, you're very, very welcome. I appreciate you
And
being
thank
as
you for giving me,
oh,
your story and your daughter's story too. And just stay strong. You know where to find me.
yep,
And we're
it's
not that far away, so hey, maybe
we're
we can meet up
not.
for coffee sometime.
And same goes to you too. I'm here
Much
too.
love.
So it takes a village, right? We gotta go back to that.
Amen. I think a village and then like grounders too.
Yeah. All right, sweetie. Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you guys for tuning in and watching. And we will see you
Bye.
next
All right.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.